How much are you railing in on only?
Past October, I would make like 100 to 150K a month. Now it's like 350.
Years ago, when I was making $350,000 a month, I had no mortgage, no bills. I was very irresponsible with my money. I spent $4,000 on a sweater. Okay, I bought a $4,000.
Never thought that I was going to talk about this online because I'm so ashamed and I'm so embarrassed.
Welcome on another episode, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we are going to be talking about this influencer who has been crying about how difficult things are for her. And I don't know if I should call this tone deaf, but we are going to decide on what this madness is. By the end of the video, we will be able to tell what exactly this is all about. She is an influencer and OnlyFans content creator. She has once made an interview where she talked about making about $350,000 a month, and she has a house in Beverly Hills. And recently she was seen online literally crying that she cannot afford a mortgage because she cannot afford a $25,000 mortgage. And a lot of people are not understanding, because on a good day you said you make about $350,000 per month, and on days that are not so bright, not so great, you make about $100,000 to $150,000 per month. So how is that making any sense? The reactions have been killing me, because what people are asking, what makes you think we want to know about the fact that you cannot afford your $25,000 mortgage for the house you bought in Beverly Hills when you've been making $350,000 per month? People are talking about it. Let's get into it.
How the hell do you go from making $350,000 a month as an influencer to now where you're on this app crying that you cannot afford your $25,000 a month mortgage? Like, sell your house. That's the first thing most people are thinking when they hear that you're struggling to pay a $25,000 per month mortgage. And also, you're telling me while you were making $350,000 a month, you didn't think that it would have been a good idea to save any of your money? I have no ounce of sympathy for you whatsoever, because again, there's no way you were making $350,000 and you didn't save, nor did you invest any of that money for a rainy day. That was stupid. Being a full-time influencer is not a stable job. You can be the it person right now, and 6 months from now, no one cares about you or your content. $350K a month and you're now broke? Yeah, nah, that's on you. You stupid. You could have took 2 months' salary and just bought a house cash, and you would not be in that situation right now where you're worried about paying a mortgage for $25,000 a month because the money's drying.
So there's currently an influencer crying on here who used to make $350,000 a month because she now can't afford to pay her $25,000 monthly mortgage payment on her $3.5 million house. I do not have 1 ounce of sympathy. I'm so sorry. Like, she's telling us for free that $17,000 a month of a mortgage payment is going towards interest. Girl, sell your house. Like, go and buy a nice little apartment for $700K in cash. That was literally like 2 months' salary for you. But no, people's egos are way too much. Like, I know that financial literacy is not taught in schools, but damn, I have no sympathy for people who make a lot of money and then squander it so carelessly. With all that money, you have access to a financial advisor. There is no excuse. Sorry to sound like an absolute hater, but it's got to be said. But a lesson for everyone: don't start acting like a billionaire baller just as soon as you come into a bit of cash. Like, it's not by force to buy a $3.5 million house. Carry on living within your means and invest for...
How the do you go from making $350,000 a month to going absolutely broke and getting on here and asking people to help you pay for your $25,000 mortgage? Bitch, we're in the middle of a government shutdown. Federal employees are not being paid. What the f are you talking about right now? Like, bitch, I've been unemployed since July. I lost my job too. Don't ask me how I'm making it. At this point, I'm about to go down to Tara Boulevard in Georgia. I'm going to be wearing fishnet stockings and plug in Louboutins, bitch, with a fish tank on the bottom. We're in the middle of a federal shutdown. Many federal employees are not being paid at all, and they're still expected to go to work if they're essential employees. And you're on here asking people to pay your motherfucking $25,000 a month mortgage. Bitch, are you crazy? Have you lost your motherfucking mind? Hey. when you were making more than what doctors make in 2 years in a month, money management skills should have been your fucking best friend, because there's no way that you're getting on here asking for that. Impossible. Impossible.
Absolutely zero hate to Tara's world, but girl, what the hell do you want us to do about the fact that you're going broke because you couldn't budget your $10 million a year that you made and you spent it all on a mansion and did an extra $1 million in renovations that you didn't need? And last time I checked, you also had bought a house in New York. It was an apartment, but like most people can't even afford one home. You've had two. You've also had 4 DUIs. You have, I mean, you live a life of privilege. You even claimed one time that you rented an entire jet and took all your friends on vacation and pretended a brand paid for it. Like, hello. And you went viral for crying about the $15,000 Harry Styles tickets and then being like, no, I'm finna be in the pit. Like, I'm finna be in the pit. I get that we all spend money on stupid stuff, but you spent so erratically to the fact that you're not going to be able to keep up with this lifestyle for much longer. And I just don't even know if I truly believe that she's broke. Honestly, maybe she just wants to get out of the OF game. I don't know.
So many of you guys have been asking me to talk about the Tara Lynn situation. The influencer who was once making over $350,000 a month is now struggling to pay her mortgage. I'm not about to sit here and rip her a new one because she is a human with feelings and she's in a position that she's not comfortable in and she's not happy to be in. But let's just say some questionable choices were made. What I saw is that she's a TikToker and a YouTuber, but she made most of her money on F. And I mean, $350,000 is a lot of money. She ended up buying a $3.5 million home. But according to my calculations, if you're making that amount of money, you could have paid the house off within the year. When you're making all this money, like I said in my last video, you don't think it's ever going to end. You think you're going to always be this relevant and keep making that amount of money. And I did see some comments of people saying like, let's show grace to these influencers. Like they didn't know that they would fall off one day because content creation is such a new thing. Actually, there's been YouTubers since like 2009 and we've seen them fall off in 2014, 2015. Monetization has been a thing. We've seen people have the Lamborghinis, the mansions, and then the next second, it's all gone. I feel like we've had plenty of examples to learn from at this point, but financial literacy is not even a fucking part of the American education system. So we're not taught this stuff. And if you don't have a parent that does, you're going into the big girl world a little lost. People get bored. They're not going to keep watching forever unless you keep evolving your content. And especially with F, most of the time when people see everything they wanted to see, they're going to unsubscribe and move on to the next person. So all that money you make, you need to invest it, or you need to use that money to make more money, or it's going to just all dry up one day. It hurt my soul even more when I heard that the $25K payment, $17,000 is going towards interest. So she's not actually even paying the house off. It's just going into the air. Those are her words. So why don't we go ahead and sell that $3.5 million house, take the cash and go and buy something for $300,000 or $400,000 in Arizona or Texas or Nevada, not too far from California that you could fly in and out if you need to. And we won't have this problem anymore. And this is where that ego problem comes in. Once you get to a certain level, a lot of people think, oh, I can't have that middle class house. I need to have floor to ceiling glass window condos. I need to have a big fat mansion to throw parties in just to keep up appearances, just to impress a bunch of people that are not actually your friend. And the second you fall off, they're not going to talk to you anymore. If you watched me during my LA era, you would have saw I had a huge ass friend group. I only talk to maybe one of those people now. Something a lot of influencers forget as well is that we are self-employed. We have to pay like 30 or 40% back to the government in taxes every year. But let this be a lesson for anybody that wants to get into content creation as their career. Set aside money for taxes. Prepare for the worst because you can have a 100K month, but the next month you can make $200. There's a lot of up and down, but once it goes down, it can get really bad really fast. So make sure you have that safety net. Take it from a flop like me. It's going to go downhill one day. People are going to stop caring. Prepare for the worst.
A lot of people have been calling her out and telling her that you cannot be making $350,000 a month and you cannot afford your $25,000 a monthly mortgage. Like the math here is not matching. What exactly is going on? Fine and cool, you're not making as much money as you used to make before, but even still, like, what did you do with those money when you make them? And you guys will be so surprised. I think I saw a follow-up video of this creator talking about how, she was spending like recklessly, that she would spend about $4,000 on a jacket. Like, I saw the video. She said that. What is even wild is how disconnected this is, because she's not gisting her friend. Maybe she thought this is a normal conversation that everybody should be having on how they cannot, afford their $25,000 mortgage. She's not gisting a friend. She's telling a broader audience. She made a video about letting people know that she's in a very tight situation. Like, I'm trying to see why she thinks it was okay to even say this online. I feel like she was the one who even set herself up for drags, because you have to be tone deaf. Like, you're literally online, you know what is going on, you know what people are complaining about, you know how people are so, angry about this current administration and how things have been going, but you want them to be worried for you because you cannot afford your $25,000 mortgage. How? What do you mean by $25,000 mortgage? You have people who are having to choose between their rent and groceries. Here you are online sobbing because your luxury lifestyle, you can catch up with what you started. If you make about $350,000 monthly, that is giving roughly around $4 million a year. And you want people who can hardly afford rent and groceries to feel sorry for you, for your decision, because you can't pay your $25,000 mortgage. I feel like one of the things that these influencers, or what am I supposed to call them, one of the things that they forget is that when you are an influencer, you are pushing an illusion. You are basically pushing a particular lifestyle. And when that illusion cracks, people are going to question you, because she was on interview saying she makes $350,000 a month. And people were literally like, what? There is another conversation going on how influencers are making too much money for nothing. Like, I feel like I'm going to bring that conversation here as well. When I'm done, like, clips together, I will bring the conversation here, because this creator is getting dragged for literally saying that influencers make too much money. I feel like our video is going to be a wake-up call for so many influencers, so many content creators, because you make a certain amount of money a month doesn't mean that is how it is always going to be. And then it's not okay to come online to scream to people who cannot even afford rent, or who are having to pick between their groceries and their rent, on how you cannot afford your $105,000 mortgage and the house that you bought in Beverly Hills. Like, it's not making sense. We need to be able to read the room. People are not feeling sorry for her, and I do not blame anyone for not feeling sorry to her, because why is the math not mattering? Even if you dedicated 3 months of making $350,000 a month, if you dedicated that into putting about 60% of your earnings into investment, I don't think you'll be online crying right now. I do not think so. I do not think so. Let me hear what you guys think about this video. Let me hear what you think about this influencer, and I am going to see you guys in the next one.